I wanted to show you this very unique, interesting and special bicycle frame by Cinelli. This is called the Nemo Tig, and it is Cinelli's steel racing bike, and it's custom built as well. So I actually bought this bike for myself for my birthday this year. I've been waiting quite a few months for it to be produced. It took about 3 months to be made, and then took another month to be shipped here to Brunei, because I was waiting for some other bikes as well to be ready. So, you know, as I say, it took nearly 4 months now to get hold of this bike, which is not that bad, I suppose, for a custom built bike. I want to explain to you why I bought this bike. So this is the Cinelli's custom steel frame. I'll just show you some of the options that you can have with this bike from the Cinelli catalogue. This is the 2022 lineup for the Cinelli catalogue. Look at that for design. Gorgeous. If you look here, this is the bike that I have in front of you. This is the Nemo Tig. Nemo is the name of the frame. Tig is how they weld the frame, because this is steel. So TIG welding is a really fine way of welding the frame. As you can see, you get these really perfect welds on the bike. You can hardly even tell it's been welded. And I used to work in the welding industry, so I know my welds. TIG welding is a lovely way to put a modern steel frame together. This one is rim brake. That's what I went for, because I prefer rim brake to disc. I wanted something that's simple and easy to repair, because I'm a bike mechanic. I spend most of my life repairing other people's bikes. I don't want to be repairing my own. So I went for the simplest, easiest to maintain design, which is external cable bike with rim brakes. And I just prefer rim brakes anyway. They're lighter, and I think they work better for a road bike, but that's just my opinion. Then these are some of the colors you can have. You can have up to 60 custom colors with this bike, but these are the basic factory colors. I went for Yellow Moon, which I think looks even better in real life than it does in the catalog. And you've got some special colors here, rainbow and green, pink and gold pink. Really cool. These actually came out after I ordered my bike, annoyingly, because I might have considered one of these colors, one of the iridescent colors for my bike. They also do a steel gravel bike. This is the Nemo Tig Gravel, basically the same bike, just designed for gravel riding. Slightly wider dropouts and chainstays and stuff. And then this is the road bike again, but this is the Nemo Tig disc. So you can have it with disc brakes. If disc brakes are your jam, you can do that. Or if all your other bikes have got disc brakes and you just don't want to have to worry about switching wheels, then there you go. You can have a lovely, beautifully custom painted, custom made steel road bike with disc brakes as well. Now these bikes are custom geometry as well. So you can have any kind of geometry on the bike that you want, any length of top tube or head tube or down tube. I went with a size 55 across the top because that really suits me as a rider perfectly. So it's basically the similar size as my Lightspeed. This is a large frame, as I say, 55. Most people I think here in Brunei are riding around 50, 49, 52. I think the biggest sizes are around 54 for most riders here. So let's get down to it. Why did I buy this bike for my birthday? Why did I choose a steel bike in 2021 when I had choice of titanium and aluminium and carbon fiber and all that kind of stuff, right? Why don't you see me riding a modern carbon fiber aero bike with disc brakes? Right. Now, this is a lot of personal perspective from me. It's a lot of my personal opinions. You don't have to agree with it. Some of what I'm going to say is facts. Some of what I'm going to say is personal. Try not to be offended by it. It is just what I believe. Okay. So from my long experience riding bikes. Okay. So, like I say, I enjoy riding bikes. I love riding bikes, and I love spending that quality time out on my bike. Usually, I like to be somewhere pretty, somewhere I can enjoy the scenery. And I just like to, you know, swish along the road at a nice pace, just enjoying the feeling of riding a nice bike. And the ride quality that you get from a steel bike, especially a custom steel bike at this level, is fantastic. It's something very similar to a titanium bike, but they have a very springy and lively nature to them. which makes riding a steel racing bike or a steel road bike like this very, very pleasurable. The guy who actually came up with the idea of this bike was a professional Italian racer, ex-professional Italian racing cyclist, and someone at the Cinelli factory gave him a steel bike to test ride, and he loved it so much that he came back to the factory and he said, look, what we need to do is we need to make a steel frame racing bike. And so the Nemo Tig was invented, and that's what this is. It's a steel race bike. So the geometry is traditional Italian geometry with an aggressive Italian geometry feel to the bike. So it is a race bike, but because it's made of steel, as I say, you get much more comfort than you do from a carbon bike or from an aluminium bike, and you get that durability that you get from a titanium bike as well, because steel is super strong. So, you know, you can put bags on it, you don't have to worry about your body weight, you don't have to worry about rough roads, you don't have to worry about stones hitting the bike, you don't have to worry about any of that, because this bike is super strong, gonna last a lifetime. Something people worry about, by the way, with steel bikes is rust. People say, well, if you buy a steel bike, won't it rust? No, not really. I mean, there are old bikes out there from the 1930s and 1920s even, steel bikes which are still being ridden today, and they're perfectly fine. They have a little bit of rust on them, but not that much. Modern steel is much higher quality, it doesn't rust as easily, and this bike is actually coated on the inside of the frame as well, so that, you know, even after the bike getting wet or something, it's not going to rust. So don't worry about that. Not an issue. People also worry about the weight of steel bikes, and the weight again is not really an issue. Let me explain. I get bikes in this bike shop all the time which are, as I say, modern carbon fiber aero disc bikes, and some of them weigh like 9 kg or more. Some of them are ridiculously heavy. I remember a few years ago when we were riding on rim brakes and everything was about climbing bikes, bikes would weigh like 6 kg. Or 6 point something kg, right? That was quite common. Nowadays it's rare to see a bike that weighs, you know, less than 8 kg. And those that do weigh less than 8 kg are not like super light usually. Most of them are pretty darn heavy. So again, weight I don't think is a big issue. This is a big frame. I ride a big frame. This one weighs about 2 kg. To put that in perspective, a good carbon bike weighs about a kilogram, same as a high-end titanium bike weighs about a kilogram. And a good aluminium bike probably weighs about 1.4, 1.5, something like that. So 2 kg, it's only a few hundred grams more than a high-end aluminium bike. And like I say, I'm going to build this up with Ultegra and with all aluminium components and aluminium wheels. And I reckon this bike's going to come in around 8.5 kg, probably because it's rim brake. You know, rim brake tends to be lighter. So yeah, I'm not worried about the weight at all. And as I say, I've got my race bike already, so I won't really be doing much racing on this bike. And let's face it, if you're honest with yourself, how much racing do you do? Not that much, right? Most of the time you're training or you're just riding for fun or fitness. Why are you worried about how much your bike weighs? It doesn't really matter. What matters, in my opinion, is the quality of the ride, the feel of the ride, and the enjoyment of the ride. And I think these kind of bikes really accentuate those qualities more than a lot of other bikes you can buy. So some more reasons why I decided to buy this bike. Not just because of its durability and its fantastic ride quality and the history. Like, I mean, Cinelli started making steel bikes when they first started as a company, and so it's nice to own something that is kind of made by a long time steel bike manufacturer. It is custom made, it is handmade in Italy. That makes it quite special, because most of the Italian made bikes now you get are carbon fiber, and they're all made in Taiwan. Like Cipollini, still made in Italy, but they're a very small bespoke brand, quite expensive, but I believe they are still made in Vicenza or Verona, Verona in Italy. Who else? Top end Colnago, like the most expensive Colnago bike, I think is still made in Italy. But Viglia, Bianchi, Pinarello, all those guys are all made in Taiwan now. So it's nice to have an Italian bike that was actually made in Italy, which makes it pretty special, pretty unique. Yeah, so basically that's what you're getting from one of these custom steel frames. You're getting something that's unique, you're getting something that's custom, any color you want, any design you want, any braking system that you want, easy to fix and maintain. Like I say, I'm a bike mechanic. I don't want to be spending all day long fixing my bike. I want to be riding my bike. So, you know, external cables and rim brakes is just fantastic for me. And yeah, that's about it really. And, you know, just hand-built Italian goodness and a great ride quality as well. So I think I've gone over all that enough. Let's have a look at the bike frame and wrap the video up there. There, just lift this up. So here we go. First off, we're going to start at the bottom bracket area. The best bottom bracket you can get, threaded into a metal shell. They are trying to do this on carbon bikes now. What they do is they put an aluminium insert inside the carbon frame first, and then they glue it in place. Problem with that is that if there's any imperfection in the carbon fiber frame from the molding process, it distorts the bottom bracket shell, and then the aluminium gets distorted as well, and you end up with issues. The other thing, water gets in, starts corroding the aluminium between the carbon fiber shell, and then eventually a bottom bracket falls out. I know because I've repaired a couple of those, or tried to repair a couple of those in Brunei, and usually it means a new bike frame. But threaded bottom bracket into a steel shell, you do not have to worry. That is like literally the most perfect and least likely to break kind of BB shell you can possibly get. It also says Nemo on the BB shell, that's the name of the bike, and this Columbus sticker here from the Columbus factory in Italy, where they make the Cinelli bikes, which they have done since the 1970s, shows that it is handmade in Italy. So that is really special, out of Columbus steel, which is one of the most famous steels you can get. One of the highest quality steels as well. It says Cinelli on the frame here, nice big bold letters, and on top tube it says Nemo Tig. You can see the weld quality on here, by the way, you know, look at it. It's absolutely perfect, like you can't even feel the welds. It could be carbon fiber, or it could be aluminium, you don't know, but it is actually steel. You've got some nice features on the seat post clamp here, just looks very nice. You've got this little Cinelli logo on the clamp for the seat, what do you call it, brake junction here. You've got some little Cinelli wings on the back of the bike there. Yeah, just looks super cool. Obviously you've got the head tube as well, Cinelli head tube, and you got the fork, which is carbon fiber. Just lightens the bike up, I suppose, a little bit, and it's a lot easier to make a carbon fiber fork than it is making a steel one nowadays, so they just put a carbon fiber fork on there. But again, from the Columbus factory in Italy, you get the Columbus headset with the bike as well, which again is from that very special factory in Italy. So there you go, that is my custom steel road bike. You don't have to like it, you don't have to want one, that's absolutely fine. Everybody's different, everyone's got their own opinions, but now you get a top cap as well. Cinelli top cap, Columbus. But I cannot wait to build this up and ride it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that I helped you understand my purchase here. But like I say, if you don't like it, you don't like it, that's fine. We have carbon fiber aero disc brake bikes for those of you who like that as well. So we are catering for everyone. There we go. But remember, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you ride as long as you have a good ride. Yeah, enjoy the ride, folks, and be safe. Thanks for watching.